Hello, everybody. This is Debbie Starr. I wanted to hop on here and talk about something that's really important, and I might go on a little bit of a rant. It's managing your passwords. So I just signed onto my computer this morning, and good old Google told me that there was maybe a breach in some of the passwords. And so it gave me a list of 33 sites that I needed to update my passwords. Has that ever happened to you? And maybe it's just one password. You know, have you ever spent 20 minutes searching through all of those scraps of paper? You were going to remember that password for that course that you just signed up for, and you cannot find it. Or, you know, you get notified that the one really important site that you go on to, there's been a breach, and now you're trying to think, okay, what password am I going to use now? I've used all my favorite things. And, you know, worse yet, you use the same password across the board. If somebody hacks into your account, then all of a sudden they have access to everything. So what do you do to manage your passwords? And I'll just say, coming out of the gate here, there are some commercial services that you can use, like FastPass, things like that. But I want to talk about what I do and how I manage it. And with anything in business, if it's not easy, it's not going to get done, or you're not going to be able to maintain it and manage it. So when I work with clients, getting their business set up, or work with them, helping them make progress, I always look for, how can we make this easy? How can we make it sustainable? So I just want to share with you what I do, my little password hack, and how it can make your life a lot easier. The first thing is, I mean, I think we all know, don't use your kid's name, your dog name, the day or the year you were born, the year you were married, things that are easily trackable. You know not to use any of those things for your passwords. So my suggestion is, really, I've got 3 tips here. The first one is, use an acronym that only makes sense to you. So an acronym, basically, you just take the first letter of every word in a little phrase. So let me give you an example. I used to have a kitty cat named Sneakers. So my acronym might be, my cat's name is Sneakers. What would that look like as part of the password? Capital M, C, N, I, and then maybe a capital S for Sneakers. My cat's name is Sneakers. Now, most people, unless they're really close to me, wouldn't know that information, but looking at that little acronym, they definitely wouldn't be able to figure that out. And then the next tip, and this is where it gets really fun, is think of a system or a pattern so that every time you need to create a new password, you use this little pattern so that each password is different, but you don't have to keep thinking about how to make it different. So let me give you an example. Maybe you want to use the first 3 letters of that site and incorporate it into that little acronym. So let's say, for instance, my Canva account, the first 3 letters is CAN. So I would take my special acronym, and I would take those 3 letters and I would join them together somehow at the beginning or the end. But the thing is, you want to come up with some little system. Just decide on it. Doesn't matter what it is. Just create a system. And then in the going forward, you never have to think about it. You're signing on to a new course, Biz Launchpad Made Easy, which is a course that I'm going to be releasing. So you would come up with, you would have your acronym, and you would use maybe the first 3 letters. Anyway, you come up with that little system. And then the final part of the password is most places want at least one special character. They want at least one uppercase and a number. So again, if you use the acronym, my cat's name is Sneakers, M is capitalized, S is capitalized. Some people maybe take the first A that's used in their password and they turn that into an ampersand sign, the little at symbol. And then maybe they use the last digit of the year. So my new password string might be capital M. My cat's name is Sneakers, right? With the at sign and a 1. I hope that makes sense. And then somewhere in there, you would incorporate those 3 letters for whatever account you're logging onto. So maybe for Canva, my cat's name is Sneakers, use those letters, and then CAN, and then the at sign and a 1. And then the next time I sign on to or create a new password someplace, whatever the name of that place is. It's kind of hard to communicate this. It's better if you see it in writing. So I'll put a little cheat sheet below in the comments. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're watching either live or replay, you can just let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. The whole idea is you want to come up with a pattern that you never have to think about again. Then the next time you have to create a new password, you know exactly what that password's going to be because you already have that little acronym and you have the like the 3 characters of however you're going to create that pattern. And then also, like one extra thing is come up with a little system so that when you have to update, some places make you update passwords every quarter, especially if you're in a corporate situation, or maybe every year. So you might do a Q4 20 at the very, very end of your password so that you know that, okay, that's the password I signed up with Canva in 2020. 2021 rolls around, I need to update my password. Everything stays the same except the very end. All right. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Maybe it's kind of a lot to think about, but let me tell you, as with anything in business, if you create a system, you only have to make that decision one time. So don't overthink how to create a password. Just use these 3 little tips, come up with an acronym, come up with a system that differentiates each site, each different password, and then how you're going to update that password. So once you come up with that system, you never have to think about it again. And then I don't have to keep looking around for all of these crazy pieces of paper or anything else. Now, I am going to share one more, I call it my bonus tip. And I'm actually going to just share my screen here because it will make it a little easier. My bonus tip is, let me share my screen here, is to create a spreadsheet. Now, you probably don't want to keep it up in the cloud unless you can encrypt it. I use OneDrive, and OneDrive allows me to encrypt it. You might use it on Dropbox or just keep it locally. And basically, I keep this spreadsheet handy so that it's just extra backup. And it's very simple. So the name of the site, so let's say Canva is my site that I'm logging into, and the login ID, most of the time nowadays, they just want you to use your email. I have a couple of different emails depending on if it's my business email, my personal email. So I put that login ID and then the password. And again, once you have that system, I'm just going to put X's here. So maybe that's my first part of my acronym. And then I'm just going to call it CAN. And then I'm just going to do a 1 and at symbol. Okay. And then, I know that Canva is canva.com, but, let's say it's a course that I had signed up for and I can't remember the URL. I just put that in here. And then under special details, any information connected with that, you just type it in here. And then one other thing I'm going to show you is I create separate sheets, one for my business, one for personal. Maybe you've got a special project going on. You might even create a third spreadsheet where you're collecting that data. But again, the main idea is to come up with some kind of a system and then some kind of documentation, because who knows if for whatever reason I hit my head tomorrow and I cannot remember anything, at least I have something here, right? So let me stop sharing, come back here to the screen. So how do you manage your passwords? Come up with a system, make it easy, but make it scalable and sustainable. I mean, who would have thought 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that we would be controlled really by our passwords, by all of our online activity, and you need a way to manage it. So I hope that helps. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching it on social media and you have not yet joined my Facebook group, Systems to Scale Your Business, make sure you head over there and join us where there's a lot more free training. All right, have a great day and go change your passwords.